What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out Ukraine soldier hunts Russian infiltrators in Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk. I'm getting better at it. Listen, it's been like years that I've been covering the Ukraine war, and my pronunciation of these Ukraine towns and cities is getting better. Pokrovsk. Anyway, this is by War Leaks. I will leave a link down below to the original video. Make sure you go over there, give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really important that you support these channels that are putting out this footage, because it's really important that this footage stays alive so people are aware of what's going on in Ukraine. So important. So please go over to War Leaks, link down below. Go and show them some support. Before we get started, check out Chug, 10% off, link down below for the best drinking vessel in the world. It's hot as balls these days in the summer. If you want to keep your nice crisp beer cold, get yourself a Chug. It'll keep it cold for a long time. Buy once, cry once. I'm so fed up of buying cheap crap these days. This is not one of them. This is something that will last you a lifetime if you look after it. Free customization, free bag, 10% off, link down below. Ships to America. Great bit of kit. Check out my business Morale if you haven't already. Check out link down below to a hike that I'm doing for charity to raise money for cancer research. And other than that, let's pop this up. Oh, and I go live every Wednesday or Sunday. I didn't go live on Sunday, just gone, because I had the kiddos. Emergency for the weather and stuff like that. But I had the kiddos. So Wednesday, I'll be live. I'm thinking of playing Division 2. There's also a couple other games that are on my radar. When Halo Combat Evolved, the new version comes out this month. Next month? July. I'll be playing that. Kind of want to play something a bit more elaborate, like Elden Ring, or maybe even like that God Bless Birmingham or whatever it's called, that kind of horror survival game. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. For now, let's shut up. Let's watch this. Let's see what's going on. Boom. Classic basements being used as always. This is something that we've seen for years now in the war. I'm not sure if we're going to get subtitled. It's so important that this footage gets just pushed out as much as possible to everyone so that people are aware of what's going on out there. Drones! Drone! Shit. Did you get it? Flew off anyway. Looks like they're making a run into the tree line. Makes sense. God, look at the garbage everywhere. Also, it's very blurry. Is this? See if we can try and get it better quality. I've put it up to 4K, but yeah. The cameras they're using are probably not the best.
Now they are searching for the drone operator's hideout.
It's very quiet, that, isn't it?
Russian infiltrators often hide in basements.
Yeah. Very common for that to happen.
That's why grenades are the weapon of choice in such situations.
Jeez, get close to the doorway there, though. I wouldn't get that close. Kaboom.
The front line is almost constantly monitored by drones that identify or strike targets. This makes an advance by larger mechanized formations nearly impossible without accepting disproportionately high losses.
This is the first time I've seen them use like a 2D animation for the war on War Leaks, which is really interesting.
Pokrovsk, Russia has resorted to sending small assault groups into battle. These groups attempt to slip through Ukrainian lines, often on motorcycles or simply on foot, in order to disrupt Ukrainian logistics.
And again, like we've seen this before, it's very much guerrilla warfare from Russia. It's not very like cohesive. There's not much planning. It's literally just send lads out, hope they survive and cause chaos.
These detachments are heavily decimated while attempting to get behind the Ukrainian lines. However, from time to time, individual soldiers or pairs still manage to evade detection. In the broader operational context, this often has little impact. However, if these elements manage to entrench themselves somewhere and even carry 1 or 2 drones with them, they can locally disrupt Ukrainian forces.
Yeah.
For the Ukrainians, it is therefore crucial to detect, isolate, and neutralize these infiltrators as fast as possible.
This is literally guerrilla warfare within a relatively urban environment.
Еще раз. Кто? Кто я? Какой пароль? Хохлы, сдавайтесь.
The Ukrainian soldier
So obviously they're trying to like figure out who's who there, aren't they? Which can be quite worrying.
calls the Russian kokol, a slur usually used by Russians to insult Ukrainians. By doing so, he wants the Russian to believe he has run into two fellow Russians who mistake him for a Ukrainian.
Хохлы, сдавайтесь. Кто русский? Выходи. Кто? Пятый бат? Мы девятка, выходи.
The decision to draw the Russian into a brief but tense conversation proved worthwhile.
Yeah, it seems to have worked. Like at the end of the day, they're tricking him to come out. The thing is, like, they would rather take these individuals as hostages so we can get information and stuff like that. They don't want unnecessarily killing. Do you know
As
what I
they
mean?
talked, another Russian soldier gave himself away, allowing the Ukrainians to gain valuable information about the amount of Russians hiding in the basement.
Yeah.
The situation presented a dilemma for both sides. With the new intelligence, the Ukrainians realized that storming the basement was not an option. The balance of forces was at least equal. As a rule of thumb, an attacking force should have at least a 3-to-1 superiority, and many experts recommend increasing this ratio even further in urban combat.
Yeah, I mean, we got told that it needs to be significantly more than that. At the end of the day, yeah, information is always key. I've always talked about that, but at the same time, the more numbers, the better, isn't it, really? But it looks like we've seen quite a few of these videos now where there's patrols going around, clearing these basements, and there's always like only like 2 or 3 of them, maybe 4 max. So the numbers are short for the Ukrainians as well.
Moreover, storming the basement would force the Ukrainians to pass through the door, creating what is known as a fatal funnel, a choke point where they would be fully exposed to Russian fire with no room to maneuver or escape. However, the fatal funnel also meant the Russians were trapped in the basement. Any attempt to rush outside would have brought them straight into the Ukrainians' field of fire.
Yeah.
But at least underground they were safe from drones. The Ukrainians, on the other hand, even on their own ground, were constantly just a second away from being spotted and attacked by drones or artillery every moment they stayed out in the open. It is therefore understandable that the Ukrainians were very keen to lure the Russians out of the basement with words as quickly as possible.
Девятка, выходи. Мы девятка, выходи. Татарин, немец. Татарин, немец мы. Татарин, немец.
German? What does that mean?
Выходите, выходите. Надо еще
So now it looks like they're not getting anywhere with talking, so they're like, all right, throw a grenade in.
Давай, давай.
The Ukrainian plan seemed to be working.
Oh, maybe it is working.
Выходи. Автомат спереду.
The next moments would decide the entire outcome of the situation.
Нет, выше поднимай. И выше. Нет. Нет. Выходи. По одному.
This is intense. This is like really, really intense.
Мы слышим, слышим. Выходи. Кидай на землю. Есть?
Wow.
Второй, выходи, быстро. Гранату треба ще туди одну. Давай. Лохмати, я де. Давай. Я не зможу куди йти. Второй, выходи. Выходи, сказал. Я сейчас гранату закину. Отрежь мені скотч, цей бігун. Возьми ножа у мене в кармані.
So intense. Holy shit.
Ти первого не чпанув? Ні, не знаю. На ньому це в голову.
The Ukrainian soldier, perhaps a little too trigger-happy, opened fire before the Russian had fully stepped up the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably so worried about this Russian just rushing up and shooting him. So the moment he sees his noggin, his head, he's probably going to shoot. Let's be honest. Like, it's not about being a good soldier. That's nerves. Like, someone's going to come through that doorway with a gun, and as soon as they clock on that you're Ukraine, they're going to shoot you, which is instant. Like, they're going to do it instantly. So,
Just moments before he would have been completely exposed in the field of fire.
yeah,
A very human reaction considering the situation and the rush of adrenaline.
yeah.
And not
He's also peeking from the left. You can see it's peeking from the left, which is like, it's just awkward. Like, yeah, you can shoot like, you know, out your left shoulder, but you're just never going to be as good as what you would be if you're right. Well, I mean, even left-handed usually do it, but you're never going to be as good as if you're shooting like from a proper position or from like leaning to the right instead. So he's in an awkward position, bit of distance. He's on his own. He's the only one that's got eyes on this basement. He's going to be nervous.
The factor is that the soldier is peeking left while holding his weapon right. At the beginning of the video, he threw the grenade with his right hand, which suggests he is right-handed. This means he was...
Even if you're left-handed, it's very uncommon to shoot, especially in the British anyway. I mean, I can't really say for any other countries because the SA-80 is only a right-handed rifle. You're going to shoot, we all shoot the same way no matter what, left or right-handed. So, you know, he's got an AK, which, you know, it is what it is. Some people practice shooting from both shoulders. I don't like it. I just didn't enjoy doing anything like that. The idea of you being kind of like ambidextrous with the way that you shoot is beneficial when doing CQB, but for me, it's like you're always going to be handicapped shooting from that left shoulder. And so compensating and using the right, sometimes, in my opinion, is always best, but we're going off on a tangent here, aren't we? I'd love to know what you think in the comments about that. It's actually a really interesting topic. Like ambidextrous shooting, left and right hand shooting, and what you think. Because obviously there's scenarios where it's best. If you're clearing a room and you're leaning left, probably a good idea. But if you've got to be accurate and you're right-handed, you've only practiced with that one shoulder, you're going to be poking more of your body out. Love to know your thoughts on that.
Firing from an unfavorable position. For a right-handed soldier, peeking left is awkward for several reasons.
Yeah.
The field of view is restricted, the weapon is harder to stabilize, trigger control feels less natural, and the body is forced into a more exposed angle.
Yeah.
All of this makes accurate fire more difficult and increases vulnerability when using cover.
At the end of the day, obviously, it also depends on what weapon you're using. You don't want to get brass in the face. Like, it burns. It's annoying. You don't want that. Also, not to mention brass. If you're shooting with the weapon in your left shoulder, you can also get spray back in your face. So you got to be careful of that. However, you would say that the perfect soldier, if you think of like literally like a Master Chief of shooting, like the perfect Delta Force, like SA, the best of the best, you would expect them to be ambidextrous in that shooting and be able to do both shoulders, no problem. They're just as good with each one. I just don't think it's as realistic as people think it is. He's doing it. He's swapped.
Я не вижу.
But he's also got iron sights.
Их двое. Их двойка. Я не вижу, опять повторяю. Я не вижу тебя.
I think they've compromised their... They've compromised who they are now at this point. I think, anyway. Kind of pissing in the wind a bit there, aren't you? Okay, grenade.
Выходи!
It's so awkward, isn't it? It's almost as if they might have been better, like, coming around the other side. There's just two of them.
Выходи! Блядь, я не вбив того нахуй, я, блядь, його 300-ну, походу. Сука, нахуй. Виходи, нахуй. Ми так не віженемо їх все одно, а? Ми так все одно не викуримо їх. Ну, так. Так, що ти мені? Давай в хату заперемо. В хату треба нам. Або ні, в хату точно ні.
It's so awkward.
Якщо ми зараз уйдемо, то вони нахуй нас, сібуться просто звідси.
Here another dilemma became clear for the Ukrainians. Positioned in the open under the sky, every
Very
passing
quiet.
second carried danger. Their left flank was especially exposed to threats such as FPV drone strikes or shrapnel from mortars and artillery. The logical conclusion would have been to change position and take cover in a nearby house.
So that's maybe why they couldn't go around the other side then. Again, that's another example of context in one of these videos. Is someone who like commentates on these videos, we can critique, we can do whatever, we can talk tactics and all this other stuff, but the truth is we don't have all the information that these soldiers have. So it's hard to give full context, and like I might say, oh, why don't you just go around the left hand side and like flank round? But I don't know that that could be a very dangerous area for him. We just don't know that from these videos, do we?
However, with the balance of forces being equal, this would have given the Russians a valuable opportunity to regain their freedom of movement, reposition themselves to more favorable ground for an open firefight, or even withdraw from the scene entirely.
Huh. All right, well, what do you do here then? What do you do?
Страшно. Страшно? Спочатку цю закинь. Блядь, треба, щоб їм нахуй туди закинути, іменно, поняв? І так ти не зможеш. Хіба рикошетом, поняв, треба? Рикошетом, щоб попало, блядь.
The best course of action in such a situation would be to neutralize the enemy position as quickly as possible. In more offensive operations, this might mean attempting to fly one or more FPV drones directly into the basement or burying the Russians underground with heavy
That would be ideal. It would be ideal, but you got to have the equipment for it.
explosives. Here, however, that did not seem possible, leaving grenades as the only option. These would need to land as deep as possible inside the basement, giving the Russians no chance to escape the blast radius.
Yeah.
Fragmentation grenades, for example, would extend that lethal radius, yet the Russians might also have built improvised
I was going to say, you also don't know. They might be in some sort of really well-made cover.
defensive layers out of rubble inside the basement, which could block grenades and greatly reduce the effect of both the blast and the shrapnel.
This is the best video I've seen on YouTube when it comes to talking about these tactics, when the Russians are really just barricading themselves in these bunkers, in these basements. This is the best video I've seen about this. We see footage of it all the time, but the explanation's really clear and nice. I like it. Got another grenade. That's such a dodgy way to go as well. Like, is there no way they could have gone around the building to the side of it instead?
Ух ты, въебала я ебу. Выходи!
Are you coughing down there then?
Так въебала, блядь. Ага. Аж сука цієї порипалась. Контролиш?
Alright. Putting himself in a vulnerable position there, moving to the left-hand side. You also, for the most part, there's usually only one from what we've seen in a lot of this footage, but you don't know if there's a second entrance to these basements as well. Like, what happens if there was another door that opened up in one of them houses? Did he take the weapon then? I think he took the weapon. Yeah. AK-12.
Друг, ти один останешся? А ти куди? Радійку взять.
The Ukrainians decided to use the radio to call in reinforcements, which would greatly expand their options and allow for a more offensive approach.
Yeah.
Пацаны, выходим, если хотите жить! Услышал? Я вам дал шанс!
With more rifles on the scene, the Ukrainians could begin
Nice.
to encircle the Russians and eventually close in on them.
Один там, один в хату заход.
Що є?
Давай, ще одну.
More grenades.
Стоп. Не два погреби, наверное. А?
It's only so many grenades that entranceway is going to take before it starts crumbling.
Один, все, заходьте в хату.
Ходьте сектора вокруг, на всяк.
На дроні, за дроні.
Так, покажи. СД.
Последний раз выходите меня. Зачистите всю хату и придите туда, всю хату зачистить.
Не даже возник, так, пройдіться попасти.
We're going to clear the house.
Стой, стой, бойками, не розділяти.
Jesus, what a mess. There's only so much you can do with clearing a building like this, eh? Christ.
О, у вас вийшло. Ти стоїть. А я стою.
Це не відстрілювалися?
Ні, не стрілявся. І слуху не дуже. Але все ж, мужики, держіть сектора хоч
I
які.
mean, they're not going to go down there and check, are they? Like, you're just going to get killed.
Мало ли, може вони уїбнули.
Це то.
Нормально все? А, да, то я якщо б вони уйобували, то вони б не засідали тут, вони б тікали кудись нахуй. Ну, зараз дим розвіється на зеля.
Там ще один погреб є, де я гранату кинув, блядь, не слуху, не духу, паня.
That was it. That was the end of the video. Oh, shut up, mate. You don't really see the outcome of it, which is crazy, isn't it, really? Really, really good video. And again, the best with the explanation about these standoffs that we're seeing when they're roaming around these small, patrols, searching these basements. They're having to clear these basements on their own. It's a standoff every single time. And I'd love to get into a conversation about these tactics and how you could actually go about clearing one of these basements. You're not going to go in. It's just ridiculous. You can't go in one of these things. You're going to get killed. And so it's the tactics of how do you draw them out or how do you clear it knowing that they're KIA before you go down there and finalize things. Crazy bit of tactics. Love to know what you think in the comment section down below. Check out the link down below to War Leaks Military Blog. Fantastic channel. We've watched a few of their videos now. Genuinely brilliant. Check out Chug. 10% off. Link down below. And check out Morale if you haven't already. Other than that, I love you all and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.